because I was attacked by some idiot from the projects. Yes, it's another What's the Go, and I'm not alone this time round, but from friends. Bane joining me in this episode. Bane, I don't need to join your Stuart. Oh, what? You have another friend. A missing friend. A friend you've been searching for. Well, who's that, Bane? It's this guy.
This guy? Like me, this guy? What a good time.
Hi, Monty.
Hey, mate, what a good time COVID was for Bane impressions. A lot of good mask Bane work going on.
Well, unfortunately, you could get away with a Bane impression for the last 10 years when there was no follow-up Batman movies, but now there is another one, so...
Wait a second. 10 years? Is that when the Bane movie came out? Fuck me.
Yeah, 2012, brother.
Jesus H. That's crazy. Wow.
Well, don't distract me. Where have you been?
Sorry. Well, apparently 12 years have passed very quickly. I don't know. Where have I been? I've been looking after a young daughter. I've been, coming out of a lockdown funk.
Right.
And just getting back into the world. And I'm here and ready to talk sport. By the way, we haven't done this in a while. I've forgotten. Do we swear on this? Is that okay? Good.
Well, we did. We weren't going to at the start, and you just did. So
I've got 2 away already, I think. I'll calm it down on that.
Yeah, right. Well, look, it's been a little thing over the last few episodes where I've kind of let people know that you were ducking me for a while and didn't answer my texts. So
yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Should we explain that?
Yeah, I got a new phone, and I did not bother updating it with your phone number.
Ah, well, that's just lovely, isn't it?
And then I realized, I woke up one morning, I was like, I've got a podcast to record. Holy crap. And so I put your phone number back in and had a lot of missed calls and decided to get together and then work out recording another What's the Go.
Yep. Well, it wasn't upsetting. Don't worry about it. Well.
Why don't you go speak to your pal Bane about that, mate?
I'd rather talk to Ray Warren about that. He's much more empathetic.
Have a good sandwich.
Yeah, Devon sandwich.
Hey, speaking of Rabs, where is he, mate? What's going on?
Oh, well, yeah, that's the thing. There was an article at the start of the season, NRL season, wasn't there? I'm going to pick and choose which games I call this year.
I remember this article, but I don't think he's picked or chosen anything yet.
Oh, I suppose that's a loophole he's found. If he picks one game in round 25,
that brings up a good question. What do you think is a pick and choose for Rabs? What does he want to call?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's hoping for another lockdown. He's waiting for another lockdown so he can call from home and just be eating his Devon sandwiches on his lounge while he's calling.
Has he ever professed any fervour for a team? Has he ever, where is Rabs from?
Junee.
So what would that be then?
Raiders, I suppose.
Raiders? That's pretty close to Canberra, isn't it? I don't know. But has he ever publicly...
Well, Laurie Daly's from Junee.
Okay, okay. Where did Rabs come from? Does he have a background in the sport?
I think so. It's something that I've missed from this podcast is you asking me an out of the blue question that I probably have no way of being able to answer.
Well, look, I've asked you 2 questions and you knew where Rabs came from, so you're 50%.
Fair point.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I do like to try and impress, but,
It just feels like Rabs has been here forever, but most commentators kind of come from the game somewhere, and I can't think of where Rabs came from.
Well, he was a policeman, and then...
Everyone was in rugby league back then, right?
Yeah, I think he just decided that was shit. And that he wanted to just yell into a microphone for a living. And so he just did. Do you listen back?
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Back in the good old days, decades ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about privilege these days. back then, you could just decide you wanted to do something and you could just go and do it.
Knock on a door and say, "Hey, I'm here to commentate a game."
Yeah, I want to
I'm not
commentate
going
a
to pick
game.
and choose. I'll do anything.
Well, I want to commentate. I want to be a commentator. Where do I sit? I think that's pretty much it.
Now, this takes me back to something we talked about in the past. From where do you show up and go, I want to commentate a game, to you need to make the new stadium with a hole at leg level so I can feel the crowd? Like, that's a big leap. You got to do something right in that kind of, intervening 30 years.
Also, did they do that? Was that a recent thing? Because
Yeah.
if they went ahead and did that,
Combank Stadium, they did it at Combank.
Yeah, sure, but now he's not even bothering to go call any games.
But surely there's another commentator who loves the feel of the night breeze on his leg.
Knee breeze.
Yeah, knee breeze. It's a weird thing he wanted. Yeah, the 2 sandwiches that he offered to Gus, and Gus always said no, and the leg breeze.
Yeah, we're expecting a lot from people's memories here. Quick catch up. Rabs used to take Devon and tomato sauce sandwiches into the commentary box and eat them at halftime when he was commentating a game. And he requested open windows down near his legs so he could hear and feel the atmosphere of the crowd. But
Why his legs?
I don't know. I mean, I know rugby league's a winter sport, but speaking personally, there's nothing better than a bit of a breeze kind of up the shorts sometimes.
Oh, I love it. Do you reckon he wears shorts?
Ooh, I don't know. Again,
I've never seen him below the chest.
That one's slightly harder for me to answer.
Yeah, fair.
I'm very glad you're back. You've derailed me completely. Rabs, what kind of pants does Rabs wear is not on my run sheet here at all.
That's fair.
But what I wanted to start off with was that it was a good kind of week for punching.
Good punching week. Go on. What do you got? I mean, I saw the Tyson Fury knockout today. That was pretty good punching.
Well, not even kind of formally in a sporting
not
contest.
formal punching. Oh, what other kind of punching? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Go on.
Did you see Mike Tyson punching that fuckwit on the plane?
Yeah, so what's your take on that? It seems like old fuckwit was like, I can get something out of this. I'll fucking taunt the champ till he punches my brain in. And then I'll say I'm not going to do anything. And then a couple of days later, do something? Well, like,
absolutely. You saw an opportunity for a potentially viral video. Getting absolutely.
Someone filming this. Look at me. I'll
he did have a mate. Like, he obviously had a mate filming from across the way, and he just annoyed Mike until Mike turned around and belted him.
You've seen the footage, right?
Yeah.
It's a big setup to have a mate sitting who's booked a plane ticket 3 seats away to film you. You reckon it was set up?
Oh, no, I think it was opportunistic.
Yeah, okay. So it's not old. It's just old mate. It's not his mate. Hey, did you see that Mike Tyson is big in the cannabis game now? Did you see he released those edibles? That were the shape of Holyfield's ear?
Yeah.
Do you think Holyfield gets a cut out of that?
I think Holyfield's a very Christian man, and he won't mind whatever happens.
Well, he didn't seem to like the ear bite.
Well, that was then. I'm talking about now. He's
now.
He's very, turning the other cheek type fellow now, I think.
He turned it so far that he exposed his ear.
Exactly.
It's a dangerous thing to do in boxing.
I think Mike
what else?
Mike's still training. I think he's got a fight. I can't remember.
He had a fight about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and he was in great shape. Do you think he's got another one coming up? I don't know. I don't have the intel.
No, aren't they trying to get him up against Logan Paul?
Oh man, that
or Jake
guy,
Paul, whichever one
guy.
It is. I forget.
I
always forget.
One of them seems to be decent at boxing, but he's fighting nuffies, right? He's fighting nobodies.
Yeah, and there's whispers that they're trying to hook up Sonny Bill Williams.
Oh, Sonny Bill.
Sound right? Well, does anyone in America know Sonny Bill Williams?
No, surely not. Although he plays every bloody code imaginable, I wouldn't be surprised if he played something over there that they enjoyed. The Logan Paul stuff, I just hate that. Boxing should be ashamed of itself. It's this weird kind of celebrity punch-on world now, but there's such good boxing as well. Like Tyson Fury today was great. And then Tyson, I don't know if you were over this, but invited maligned UFC mutant Francis Ngannou into the ring and said, "Why don't you have in contract? We should have an exhibition fight, and that can be my last fight." Are you familiar with Francis Ngannou?
No, other than the fact that I had this written down to talk about.
This exact thing?
Yeah, Tyson Fury saying
yeah, good.
Willie saying he was going to retire and then immediately offering a fight to somebody else.
At one point, in the ring talk with Francis Ngannou, he mentioned a Cockney slang term for Francis's penis.
Oh, yes.
That Francis didn't understand. I thought that was a weird asking him if he had a large penis. That's an odd intimidation tactic, or not. I don't know what he was trying to do there.
You can't underestimate confusion as a psychological tactic.
It's a good one, isn't it?
But what was the phrase? You can't just say a Cockney phrase. We need to know it.
Let me look it up. It was like it was a person's name, as they normally are. I'm Fury. Tyson Fury, Francis
penis
Ngannou.
Cockney slang.
Penis, yeah, Fury penis slang. Let's see it up. I got some good results. They're nothing to do with Tyson Fury. The first one was Urban Dictionary, Dick Fury. A rush of adrenaline experienced by men while holding their own fully erect penis, usually followed by a testosterone-fueled session of angry masturbation. Sorry,
happen?
The podcast probably didn't need that.
I don't mind it, but does that happen?
All right, here we go. ESPN sorry for penis joke in Tyson Fury's interview with Francis Ngannou. That sounds more... Okay, now click on the link. I have to accept the things. Dillian White. Yeah, beat Dillian White. Cameroonian. Ngannou, we're going to find out who is the baddest motherfucker on the planet. To which Fury roared, "Good man, Francis." It seems like they really want to... Here we go. He called it a Corey.
Corey, okay. So it was all right to say motherfucker, but not call a penis Corey.
Yeah, but the Corey, Cockney slang Corey.
So ESPN apologised for calling a penis Corey, but not for the motherfucker.
That's a mash.
Isn't that interesting?
It's a bizarre thing. Corey's cock and dick. Right. I can't find out.
All right. Well, don't worry about that. What I need to know if you've ever experienced Dick Fury. That's more what I'm interested in right now, because you kind of ducked the question before.
Dick Theory. Sorry, what?
Fury. Dick Fury. You just told us about Dick Fury.
Dick Fury. Oh yeah, no, that's weird. It's good like a nom de plume though. I'd write a book and call myself Dick Fury. Yeah, it's a good name. It feels like someone has been. Yeah, Detective Dick Fury.
That's Do you think it's kind of something that affects roidy type fellows?
Could be. They get a bit of Dick Fury. Yeah. No, I didn't think this podcast would go this direction. But
sorry, back to the punching.
Back to the punching. Are you familiar with Francis Ngannou?
No.
His oeuvre. He's a scary looking dude. It's that thing that I just don't think the fights between boxers and UFC people work. However, in the weird kind of Dick Neyman kind of press conference-ish, he did say that Fury said, "I'd be open to all sorts of rules," which I worry about. Like a boxer trying to grapple people, surely you get fustigated. Fustigated is a good word. Are you familiar with fustigated?
No, is it like fenestrated?
No, it's fustigated. No, fustigated is an old word for pretty much beaten up in a boxing match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I suppose we needed one.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Yeah.
Look, I'd like to see that fight, by the way.
Yeah, but where do the rules end? Are they going to have kind of bring ladders and chairs and tables into the ring and stuff like that as well?
I like it. Get a bit of a WWE element.
Yeah, have a briefcase full of money hanging from the ceiling that they've got to get up.
They were great ones. They were, that was bizarre. Did they get to keep that money, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Kayfabe, are you talking about? Or
Kayfabe?
Yeah, kayfabe.
Again?
Okay, you don't know what kayfabe is? Are you it means inside the narrative of the wrestling universe?
Oh, really? Okay,
So,
cool.
so
That's like heels and faces and
yeah.
that kind of
So
thing, right?
if you see an article that says Bret Hart had a kayfabe rivalry with Stone Cold Steve
Okay.
Austin, it means in the
Okay.
wrestling world, not in real life,
Not
kind of
not in
thing.
the outside
Yeah,
world. Yeah, okay. Where they wouldn't say kayfabe. They would just
yeah,
say he had a
yeah. They
um
just don't like him.
I had a brilliant night once in Mexico City
Hmm.
and went to the wrestling there. It
Oh,
was
Nacho Libre.
fantabulous. Oh, it was brilliant.
Mm.
It was they did it like they do it like 6 nights a week pretty much. They would only serve you beers the size of 2 pints and popcorn. That's all they served. Everyone was pissed off their tits. The wrestlers were just bizarre. One of the like and the crowd got right behind it. And
Mm.
it was a little antiquated and I love Mexico. It's a brilliant place and I think that they're very progressive in a lot of ways, but this was a little weird. The kind of main heel of the evening's persona was that he was a homosexual and
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to kiss the other wrestlers.
And he was a heel, was he?
Well, everyone was like, "Oh no, he'll get you, he'll get you," like that kind of in Spanish, obviously, but
Yeah.
that kind of vibe. He was the kind of and
This was what
his
year?
oh, 2016,
Okay.
yeah, like not too long ago.
Oh.
And the other his buddy in badness was a guy called Elviro, the
Right.
virus, who
Oh, okay.
I
Or was he
hope
AIDS?
was not. Yeah, I couldn't quite follow the kayfabe, if you will, but
Well,
I don't know.
if we're following the taste levels that are happening with the first character, you might expect that to
Indeed.
be. Anyway.
That being said, I mean, besides all that, it was a brilliant night. I highly recommend it. If you're ever in Mexico City, go see some wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably the only reason I'd go.
Oh, that's another sporting thing. Sorry, it brings me back to something sporting that we haven't talked about since we've been here. Did you see that Mexican football match about maybe a month ago where it just turned into a full-on crowd melee and 18 people were killed? Like it was just like,
How did I miss that?
yeah, I don't know. Well, they probably tried to keep it down. They didn't want
Right.
you to find out. Yeah, I think it was like Mexican Division 2 and
Was it like a full
hell
stadium
broke loose.
stacks on or something?
Yeah, pretty much that kind of thing. Like it was just, it looked horrible.
Huh.
Football
Well,
brings out violence in fans. It's
It is.
interesting, that isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't have to go too far into the past for some really horrendous things happening, usually involving Liverpool.
The Scousers, the Scousers do it. You know who does it big time? Millwall.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm not
Division
just talking about like
team.
I'm not just talking about their fans. I'm talking about like just the stadium collapses and things like that.
Oh yeah, 80,
Uh,
86
Yeah,
people.
there's been a
What's the
couple.
song? Yeah.
Anywho's, I haven't got to my
Moving
second punch yet.
Good. Yeah, what's the other punch?
The dickhead at the Broncos Bulldogs game who was yelling out during the minute silence. Did you see it?
Yeah. Yes, I did. A couple of notes on that. So first of all, the guy who took care of him did an impeccable job.
Oh.
He put that guy down.
Yeah.
He did not muck around. Secondly, I think it made me proud to be an Australian. It seemed like the man had disrespected the silence and he was dealt with.
Yeah.
Didn't need
Absolutely.
an authority figure. The crowd did it. Like,
Yeah, there
fine.
was no one on his side. The video we missed at the start what he was saying because obviously people wouldn't just be filming other people during the minute silence for no particular reason.
No, that'd be weird.
Yeah, we just got him shaping up and getting.
We got
belted.
the others telling us what he said though. Have you read that?
No, what is it?
He yelled out, "You better beat those dogs tonight, you cunts!"
Oh, okay. In the minute silence.
In the minute silence, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and another good thing is that he was being punched rather wholeheartedly by a man who supported the same team he did. That's always a good.
No.
I think.
No, he was a Bronco guy and got slapped around by the Bulldogs guy. But a Broncos guy came and stopped it and then got him thrown out.
Okay, I knew that there was some fan-on-fan similarity there. Like, I didn't think it was all.
But what happened? What it did
partisan.
was set up a bunch of kind of arguments on social media about whether he should have flogged him or not? What couldn't they have just called security instead of just beating the shit out of this guy? And a lot of people going, I don't usually condone violence, but in this instance, yeah, it's fine.
There aren't many things you can do in the world, in Australia, that then get violence that everyone is accepted for. But being loud in a minute of silence on Anzac Day at Anzac Round at the football where beer is served,
it's the closest you're going to get to unanimousness, I would say, in that area.
Yeah. Speaking of the rugby league and punches, what did you think of the two blokes getting 10 in the bin for the slaps last week?
I just don't know what's going on anymore with the sin bin. I just don't.
Right. It seems like that's their thing this year. We'll put you in the sin bin.
Look, as much as I appreciate what Volandis has done for the game and acknowledge the fact that without him, the last couple of years would be very, very different and not as good, probably. There is also an awful lot of fucking faffing about with rules, and some weeks referees are really policing something and other weeks they're not. It's just all over the shop.
Well, that's it. I was just about to mention what you just said. I don't like that thing where it's very obvious that they're told, go hard on this, go hard on that.
Yeah.
Like that infamous Magic Round, was it last year? Like when everyone got done for, was it head highs?
Head highs. Like pretty much any contact.
And it's just like that, for me, it's too obvious, right? Like that's too, I know that's weird to say, but it's like, just talk to the refs and say, slowly start building up your kind of intolerance towards this particular act.
Yeah.
Don't do it all at once at Magic Round.
Yeah.
And then we've got Origin the following week where everyone can head high everyone.
Yeah, that's fine. Whistles away there.
Please.
All right. Well, on NRL, we have a few things. Obviously, we haven't talked for a while, so we've had Ponga re-signing with Knights for 5 years on a wad of cash that his dad's now sitting on.
Yeah, that's weird. I saw that. Yeah, what's his dad's got a weird name too. What's his dad's name?
I don't know. Why does that matter?
I don't know, because I heard it recently driving. I was like, that's an odd name.
I think more to the point, he seems to have an unhealthy amount of control over
Andre.
That's right.
That's a regular name. Yeah, it's pretty regular.
What's wrong with Andre?
Don't worry about that. No, nothing. I was just confused when I heard Andre Ponga. You mean Kalen Ponga.
You kind of expect it to be a thin Austrian man or something, I suppose.
Yeah, Andre Ponga.
Yeah.
Ponga. Or a South African. Sounds South African. Yeah, go on.
Anyway, Panthers currently undefeated after 7 rounds.
Yeah.
And the Tigers. They were 5 down and now they're 2-5. They've won 2 on the trot. Both
by how many combined points?
Both games won by a field goal in the last 5 minutes. So,
as you know, I'm a Tigers fan, and it's brilliant that we've won. But I think a text chain you and I had last night summed it up best when you said you enjoy watching these games because of the chaos.
Yeah,
Tigers games are chaos. There's no kind of like. I mean, I think it's brilliant moving Brooksy to 6. I think that's working really well.
Yeah,
I think that left foot kick last night was just like top notch. But there's too much bizarreness and kind of like 4 brilliant passes followed by a attempt at a cutout that misses 5 people and goes out. Like it just, there's no consistency. There's chaos. It's bizarre. And, that's been a Tigers fan for the last decade, really, I suppose.
I think the issue is that Madge looks like he's going to have a heart attack at the best of times. The last 2 weeks, he must have been on the brink, right?
Right? He's not. This is aging him weekly.
So
it's
how
like
many...
a Benjamin Button scenario.
Yeah, how many of these games can you afford to go through until,
Do you think
all the fans even? Like, imagine the rest of the season are all 1-point wins or losses.
And followed by, you can just see how it plays out that we have to win a game in the last round to make the 8 and we come 9th by, screwing it up in some devious manner. What about that game about 3 weeks ago?
9th is optimistic for you lot.
Very. Yeah, I agree. What about that game maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago where we found a completely new way to win, except kind of reminiscent of the, I believe, 89 grand final where the was like a terrible game. I want to say it was the Warriors.
No,
Like
Titans.
Titans, and it was like 2-2 the whole game kind of thing. And then that kick that hit the post at the end, and it was like,
Yeah, it was just error. Like the whole game was just errors until the last minute. Pretty much.
And the last minute was a few errors as well, and it was just like,
Yeah, I think it was widely acknowledged to be one of the worst games in about 20 years. So
that's I don't know. I don't, as a Tigers fan, speaking of other Tigers fans, I don't know what you want at this stage. I don't know if you want kind of rock bottom, because all these things like the last 2 weeks give you this sniff where you're like, no, everything's all right, things are fine. Or you want a season of no wins kind of thing to just go, you got to change this.
You just don't want to be spoon boys. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
We never have been. So
that's what I mean.
There's a couple of teams that can spoon more than we can spoon, I think, this year. Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What about your boys? Sharks looking decent, looking pretty good. Looking like that. They look like a kind of they look like the Premier League race at the moment, where there's 4 really good teams and they're just there. They're just there. They're not there, but they're just there.
I got my hopes way high that they could beat Melbourne a week or so.
You got my hopes so high, I put $5 on it.
That was a mistake. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, it could anyway. But what I wanted to talk about next, right, was you wonder sometimes when you read a sports story just what the bare minimum is that needs to happen for a sports journalist to say, well, that's worth an article.
Yeah, nice. So, like, where you going here? Yeah, what do you got?
Because, I'm sure you have too. I've read some fucking threadbare sports articles.
Utterly.
It's annoying. There's a great example after that Broncos Bulldogs game where an article bobbed up on the Wide World of Sports website with the headline, Kotoni Staggs challenges Siasufa Talakai ahead of Blockbuster Centres matchup. So Broncos are playing Sharks next week. And someone's obviously just said to Kotoni after the game that he'll be coming up against, a rampaging beast, Talakai, next week.
What do you think about that, mate?
Kotoni said, he's just pretty much And Kotoni said, he's been going good, and that's another opponent that I've got to come up against.
There's an article in that, mate. As soon as you said there's an article in that.
I've just got to play my footy and back what I can do, and I'll give him a run for his money. That was the quote. A whole article was written around that. And that is the challenge that Kotoni's laying down to Talakai, apparently. So one of the most bland run-of-the-mill responses to a journo's question is suddenly an article.
I completely get you. There's some bizarre stuff that is, you got to fill time, it appears, in some way. One of the ones that got me this weekend was the start of Anzac Round. I was watching it on Thursday, it must have been. And I think it was Joey Johns talking about Anzac Round. And he said, it's a really important round, And I was like, first of all, I was thinking in my head, it doesn't seem too important unless you actually play on Anzac Day. The rest of it just seems like a regular footy round. But he said, it makes you stop and you have to think about how you got here.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
not the
what
bus.
do you mean? Yeah. Well, what? Like, to the stadium? Like, or to your career as a rugby league player? Like, what does he mean by that? What was he thinking about? How did I get here? Bizarre, eh?
Yeah. But also, I know it's not as direct as this ever, but do you think the Diggers were fighting for our right to be really good at rugby league?
Of course they bloody weren't. They were fighting to get home. But I do think there was a part of them fighting for a beer, and beer goes hand in hand with rugby league. So, yeah. No, I know what you mean about those articles. I have a great respect and jealousy of the profession sports writer. I think it's cool. I think it's really fun. But it does feel like
there's a difference though between that and a sports journalist.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think you're right. And I feel like you got a lot of air to fill. I've been watching a lot of NRL 360.
Oh,
Yeah,
have you?
yeah. You know who's weird? Buzz Rothfield.
I think they're all pretty
Yeah,
weird, but
yeah.
yeah, sure. Buzz is weird and kind of
Yeah,
drunk
right? Like he's just
a lot of the
how's they
time.
still let him on telly?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if he's drunk or just
I
old
think
and
it's old and
doddery.
doddery. I am surprised that they let
Yeah.
him do this anymore. But yeah.
Well, because they let him do it because they make fun of him when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
says
you're
something
right.
stupid.
Punching bag buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like if we're going to write articles, after every bland answer that gets given, there's going to be too many articles to read.
Yeah, and there's going to be your Buzz Rothfields of the world to talk
Yeah.
about these stupid comments that people make.
Now, if Katoni had said Talakai ain't no thing, I'll chop him up and hide him in the bed like drug money or something like that.
Yeah, or even
That
said
would have
like,
been
who's Katoni?
yeah. Who's Talakai?
Who's Talika? That's good.
Yeah,
That's an article.
yeah. That would have been an article, but anyway.
Mm.
You know what? I read another great example, not necessarily from the sports world, of this kind of article.
Mm.
Here was the headline. Brooke Blurton shows off her very organized kitchen cupboard. So Brooke Blurton is...
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of this. It's the thing that I find upsetting.
She's a former Bachelorette star, Monty. Brooke Blurton gave fans a glimpse inside a very organized kitchen pantry on Friday. The 27-year-old shared a before and after picture on Instagram after arranging her cupboard with the help of storage solutions she got from Amazon. That's an article, Monty. That's an article in the Daily Mail.
That's yeah. We just feel time. I don't like the use of the phrase breaks their silence on, because you'd hear a similar article which is like Brooke Blurton breaks her silence on clean cupboards,
Kitchen cupboards.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. And it's like, oh, fuck off. Yeah, I hate people. I hate the world. I think is yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we should mention a bit of AFL here. I saw an article. Giants coach Leon Cameron says he'll not give up on the Giants playing finals despite the team being 1-5 for the start of the season.
I find this really odd because I
Monty,
still go on.
Is there still a big sound from the west of the town?
It's a big sound from the west of... No, there isn't at the moment. There's quiet sound, but
silence.
I doing my duty as a Swannies member, went to a pre-season game, Swannies versus North, and it was one of those double games. And I got there for the end of the Giants.
You know those games that are like
Saints?
Double games?
And I thought they were the business. I thought they were great. I thought that midfield they had was going to run rampage on the league, and I still think that. Like, I can't bring myself...
What's happened?
My eyes saw them look brilliant. I don't know. Toby Green was back yesterday. Did not much, or 2 days ago didn't do much. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. But also, still remember they are an expansion club. They've done absolutely amazingly. Look at the Gold Coast.
Suns. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought.
Exactly, right. Like, so cut them a bit.
It is a Gold Coast sporting team, though. So
who notoriously terrible. Have the Gold Coast ever won anything major? In any sport?
No.
Never won that, like, NSL or anything, or like won a netball title?
I don't know. Do they have a NBL team?
I don't know.
Look, let's leave on that another question that has a bit of silence after it, and we'll be back after this break.
Let me just go fill up my drink. Is that cool?
Yeah.
1 sec.
Peter Hellier kills off bizarre rumour. There's another headline. I'm not clicking that. Holly Ramsey stuns in semi-sheer dress ahead of Coachella. She stuns. Precious little Ukraine war gear in here.
you talking to me?
Can't. Sorry?
Were you talking to me?
No, I was just filling the air while you were gone. Let's look overseas now. And Joe Root's resigned from the captaincy of the English Test team. And the next most obvious candidate, Ben Stokes, might not be all that interested in the role. So, yeah, they're in a bit of trouble, potentially, the English team, because guess what? They don't have anyone who's in the side long enough, or often enough, or regularly enough, outside of those two, Root and Stokes, to hang a captaincy on.
Funny, immediately when you brought up that story, I was like, I don't know enough about this. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to. But immediately I was like, there's a lot going on in this. First of all, didn't Ben Stokes punch someone a couple of years ago relating to our punchy start to the show?
Yeah.
Some man on the street.
Related.
Yeah, I think it was kebab related too. I've been desiring a kebab lately. I want to go get a kebab. Secondly,
what's stopping you?
I don't know. Convenient? I don't know. There's a good babbery near me. And the second one was like, what kind of national team are you in where there isn't someone who wants to put their hand up for the captaincy? Like,
yeah,
that's bizarre.
Yeah, that's embarrassing,
isn't it? Isn't it embarrassing? Like,
but I suppose it's not to say that any number of other players don't want it. It's just that no one feels like they're confident that they'll be picked all the time.
Would you say that cricket is the sport where captaincy matters most?
Yes.
I agree, I think, right? Like, just saying that out loud. I can't think of any other sports where quite a lot of sports captaincy appears to me almost, from an outsider's point of view, probably not in the dressing rooms and stuff, but to just be a kind of title, less so anything. But cricket, it seems to be you call on the shots.
It's very important. It's an exalted position, particularly now when essentially the Australian team don't have a coach. The captain's pretty much, sexy old blue eyes Cummins.
Yep.
He's pretty much running it himself. Pretty much got rid of Langer.
Yep.
And pretty much, the Ranger assistant coach, who's kind of an interim coach in quotation marks. I suspect he's doing bugger all.
Well, other than before you go out to bat and going out for potentially a day in the field, you don't have much interaction with your captain, with your coach, do you? Like, it's just you got to be the coach on the field.
He's kind of there for tactics and
But like, how's he getting the information?
Firing you up.
What's he doing? Like, when you're on the pitch, he's not saying, well, you should run this play.
Oh,
like, there's no whispering in the ear.
As a ridiculous number of drinks breaks where people run messages out and stuff.
But juxtaposing it with the Americans, with the NFL, where until I think it's 10 seconds left in the count, the quarterback in an NFL game has headphones in, talking directly to the coach.
That's incredible.
Isn't that insane? Like, the coach is going, no, look, I see that guy over there. Like, no, run that. And then it cuts out. And he's like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? Like, he's about to say something really important. But, no, cricket seems like one of those ones where it's very important. One of the things I really enjoy in captaincy... go on, sorry.
Well, what I was going to say was, I guess that's exemplified by the fact that, in cricket, the captaincy is, very valuable, whereas in rugby league, you get teams with captaincy inflation, i.e. the Tigers, who have named 5 captains. So the value of captain decreases. It's a bit like the Zimbabwean dollar.
I like it. I like it. Captaincy is very similar to the Zimbabwean dollar. And it's that thing where eventually you're like, there's only 2 guys who aren't captains. And you're like, well, you guys, we don't want to...
And how pissed off are they?
Yeah. They're like, anyone else can tell them that you got to go do this shit, go get me my water, get me an orange, but...
You get a little pay bump for being captain? I'd be interested to know that.
Yeah, it's interesting. No, I'm not sure.
Match fee of some kind?
One of my favourite things in captaincy and coaching is... it happened up until, I don't know what the last exact case of it, but I'm talking Premier League soccer here. At least at longest ago, maybe even shorter, late 90s, player coach.
Yeah.
Where there's a coach, but he's also a player. So the second half go, you know what? I'm bringing myself on. and you'll all have to deal with it, kind of thing. I believe Alan Shearer did it, maybe at Newcastle, maybe somewhere else, but that's a great role, I think. Isn't that amazing to be able to coach the team and play?
Oh yeah, it happens in rugby league, like bush footy a fair bit.
Of course.
I think from memory, the last time it actually happened at top level was maybe Wally Lewis.
Oh yeah, well
at the Gold Coast.
How could you coach Wally? Like he knows more than you. I don't care who you are, but he's better than you. Like, yeah, that makes sense. The Crushers?
Yeah.
This was a Crushers?
No, that's the South Queensland. We're talking whatever I think it was the Seagulls at that time. The Gold Coast.
The Seagulls. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of Gold Coast talk on this podcast over the years, isn't there? Back to
it's fascinating.
It is, isn't it? It's a fascinating town.
I find the Gold Coast fascinating.
It's a fascinating sports town.
It's so small. So many people come from there, and they're all crazy.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's the Florida of Australia. British cricket captaincy. I don't know what's going to happen there. What are they going to do? Is Monty Panesar still around?
Oh, well, he's still around, but he's not playing.
He hasn't
top level.
Left the mortal world. Okay.
What are you asking? Can Monty Panesar come back and be captain?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking.
All right.
It's a good name.
Well, I think if Stokes doesn't do it, then it should be Wokes or Folks.
Some kind of
slightly close to Stokes, but not quite.
Yeah. Are they playing any cricket at the moment, the Brits?
I don't know. They were in the West Indies.
Yeah, they were in the West Indies. I finished, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're worrying about kind of their future right now. They're doing kind of admin and future building.
Yeah, sure. That's an important part for a cricket team, admin and future building.
Yeah, look, I think we need to go in a second, but did you want to tell us anything about your beloved Premier League before we go?
Oh, just my own Premier League musings. I support Southampton, and it's one of those bizarre things that's happened in a season where with about 9 games to go, maybe 10 games to go, we had pretty much locked up our safety. We hadn't, but we'd pretty much locked up our safety. We were staying in the top flight. We lost in the FA Cup. And we have nothing to play for. It's just kind of like, what do? You just show up every week. There's kind of there's no juice to the games. There's no kind of like, well, if we do
individual glory.
But like, what? The best possible finish we can have is 9th, which is a really good finish for us. But the worst possible finish I think we can have currently, like unless things go terribly wrong, is like 11th. And it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing out here? Just give the young kids a run. What's going on? Annoyingly, too, another weird thing that's happened in that, and this brings in world politics. We have 2 great players currently. One on loan, one I think we purchased, but both from Chelsea. The one on loan from Chelsea has been amazing for us, and he's up front. Armando, there's another good story too. He's Armenian, and his last name is Broja, which I believe in Armenia is Broha, but he's from Slough. He says, nah, it's Broja.
Oh.
Broja. And, either way, Armando Broja, looking really good. Every goal he scores puts another $1 million or $2 million on what we have to pay for him. And then fucking Ukraine thing happens, and now Abramovich's assets are frozen, and we don't. No one knows what the fuck happens at the end of the season. Can we buy him? They're not legally allowed to sell tickets to their games.
So he was trying to flog the club off though. Did that not happen in time?
It hasn't happened yet. Yeah, so it's like in this weird stalemate where nothing can happen monetarily at Chelsea. So we want their player, but we think he might have to go back to them next year, even though they probably don't want him back. It's bizarre.
Yeah, with frozen assets.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, look, I think it's time to go. I just it's that time.
It is. I must say though, we need to beef out our away from home section. We had the British cricket thing, and that was it.
Well, to be fair, you started talking about one of my away stories in the in the home section, the front section, the Tyson Fury bit.
Yeah, fair.
And I thought you might talk about more Premier League stuff than just what's happening with your club.
Well, look, if you've got another 5 to 10 minutes to spare before we go, I've got some other international stories we could do.
Nah, save it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. See you, mate.
See you, mate.
Let's do this again, like maybe next week.
All right, I can't hold one of the international stories in. It's very quick. I just want to tell you, I was watching some weird sport. I think it was
Kabaddi.
Nah, Scottish football. I think Scottish. Yeah, Scottish football.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, and there was just a man. He was an African man playing for Scottish football, and I was amazed by his first name. You know what his first name was? Teenage.
Teenage?
Yep, Teenage. His first name was Teenage.
Wow. That's really setting someone up to have a golden period, isn't it?
Yeah.
In their life.
In their teens, I suppose. But yeah, that blew my mind. Wanted to get it off my chest. Teenage.
Thank you.
We can muse on that more in the future.
Oh, we will. For sure. Bye, everyone, and welcome back, Monty.
It's great to be back, mate. Let's do it again soon. Oh, that was great fun.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named Managing Director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu.
I'm Rachel.
And we are fans
Obsessives might be the word.
of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favourite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
We lived it.
We lived it. We were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.